Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
It's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think. Jamil Zainashev and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings.
There you go. Now you're back in the swing of things.
Yeah, I'm ready this time.
It's been the plane flight 3 off on the first show.
I was taking a drink, yeah.
Well, then, yeah, now we have beer.
Mm-hmm.
Get some drinking going here. It makes the shows far more entertaining.
Yes. More lubricated.
Yeah.
Easier flowing.
We should always have the mics on during the breaks. That's really where the show is.
Right. Well, I think people would have to pay extra for that. And it would help
right.
They
have to pay for it.
Yeah, and then help for, my kids for any, emotional distress and...
help them pick the college of their choice.
Right. Any later on, counseling they need or anything like that from hearing the...
what about my counseling bills? My counseling bills are huge.
Yeah, you're all messed up in the
anchor
head.
managements are usually group sessions.
No, that's true. You'd think it would cut the cost, but...
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes you pay more for more people.
That's true. Palmer, where's your new hat?
It's right here beside me. I was
fancy new BN Army hats.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get it over the headphones, but
you put the hat on first, and then you put the hat. See how JP has done it.
It's a process. I managed to do it.
Yeah, if JP was able to do it, I would think you would have been able to do it, but apparently not.
I like the soft mesh. It's a nice touch.
Oh, the mesh is soft. It's not not all hard. Because I saw that, I was thinking, well, maybe that's that plasticky mesh, and I don't really care for that. But that's actually a nice soft mesh. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a nice hat. My bald head can take it.
I like it.
Your bald head can take it.
Yeah, it can.
Take it twice.
Just like Blickman Engineering.
Yeah, right. Just like John Blickman at Blickman Engineering. I'm sure he could take it more than twice.
Mm-hmm. He's probably taken it several times. Yeah.
They don't call it the Tower of Power for nothing.
Right. There you go.
Right. Are we talking about hats still, or what?
No, we're talking about Blickman.
Blickman has hats,
Blickman
too.
Engineering. Yeah, I bet you they have some sweet hats.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything that company does, they're very innovative. And, they have... they use their substantial genius that they hold within their heads to make substantially great products that make it easier for you to brew.
Innovate your brew day and
better, brewing is a lot about a lot of things, but one of the things quality equipment does for you is make it easier for you to produce a consistent product. And if you want to be a professional brewer, it's all about consistency and being able to repeat what you're doing, not because you just need to make the same beer over and over again, but because consistency allows you to dial in things and to adjust it.
Right.
To make it, the beer you want it to be. Like we were talking about the Evil Twin.
Yeah.
When we first brewed it, I thought it was good, but it wasn't exactly what we wanted. So we've been very slowly, dialing it in and making small changes. And the only way we can do that is by consistency. Everything's very consistent, and the equipment helps us with our consistency, and so we're able to dial it into where we want to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a good quality homebrewing equipment does too. Sure, you can do a great job with a plastic bucket with holes drilled in the bottom, but it's difficult to get a level of consistency, and things like the Tower of Power, especially the precision at which that controls the brew process. And just finely machined pieces of equipment that they sell.
That the change that you detect is a change that you planned. It's not a random one.
But based off of how old your plastic bucket's getting. So check it out, BlickmanEngineering.com. They've been sponsoring the show, paying for it, so you don't have to. So go check them out. Good people and great equipment.
Definitely.
Great people. Who am I kidding? I love me my John Blickman. He's one funny dude.
Yep, he's a good guy.
Yeah. And speaking of funny dudes,
JP.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Funny in the head? No. Speaking of funny dudes, we're going to talk about distribution today.
By definition, a bunch of...
Continue our progasm.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we've got a couple more shows that we're going to do in the progasm series. So distribution we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about marketing in the next one, and then we'll have another show with some words of advice. But we also encourage you, we'll do some Q&A shows, as many Q&A shows as we need to do, focused on the progasm arena. We've already got some great questions in about for the progasm. You can send them to brewstrong@thebrewingnetwork.com and or Jamil at thebrewingnetwork.com, and just say it's for progasm Q&A, and we'll make sure to do it in those progasm shows. And whatever your questions are about starting your own brewery, or about that process, we'll be glad to tackle those for you.
Right,
so send them on in. And today, like I said, we're talking about distribution,
which is really one of the stranger aspects of going pro. It's one that a lot of people really aren't prepared for.
Well, it's where the rubber meets the road. Now, if you're doing a brew pub or something like that, your distribution is to your consumer there at the bar or wherever, right? You direct to consumer is what your model is there. And you could also, if you have extra beer, you could sell it to local bars in your area, things like that. If you're in a self-distribution state, you could go ahead and take those around. Generally, some states may require some sort of, licensing for that or some permits. Generally, not too difficult. Some states you can't do that, and then you need a distributor. And the distributor then picks it up from you, takes it around, sells it, the 3-tier system where, you have the manufacturers, the distribution, and the retail.
Yeah. Why did the whole distribution thing come about? Can you...
I'm not sure the actual genesis of the thing, but some people say that one of the reasons it's protected in some areas is to prevent, a monopoly or some, problem with the consumer or this, that. There was some story about how the 3-tier system came about.
Due to tide houses, that kind of thing?
Tide houses, yeah, that's right. To avoid, like in England, they were allowing tide houses, and they were... how the breweries actually owned the pubs, and so they controlled what beers those pubs sold because they were their pubs. And the nice thing about it is they controlled the quality of the product that you were getting.
True.
So they knew, that it was fresh. They knew it was handled properly at the pub. It was the best presentation possible. And so a brewery would have, 4,000 different pubs.
Uh-huh.
And the problem, the claim was, well, it's cutting back on, consumer choices, and it's monopoly, but they'd have a half dozen breweries with 4,000 pubs. And I guess as Dr. Bamforth is keen on saying, it was, Margaret Thatcher went in and did that in and called it a monopoly or whatever. And that ended up causing those breweries to get out of you could only own 2,000 pubs or whatever. And so it's more profitable to own a pub, the retail than it is the brewery. And if you can't own the retail, then the brewery doesn't make sense. So the end result was it limited, reduced competition, reduced choice for consumers, and raised prices. And it actually pretty much boned the consumer based off of that change.
Yeah.
Which is often the case when people try to monkey with, something that's already working and they think it doesn't work right. The sorts of things like power supply in California, deregulating that. It was insane. And so they have the 3-tier thing here in the United States. The issue with that is, some of the distributors had gotten, some of the richest families in the nation are all beer distributors because a lot of control over. You couldn't get beer. Mm-hmm. The brewery couldn't sell any beer, and the retail people couldn't buy any beer without the distributor. Every drop going through them. Uh-huh. So you can do whatever you darn well please, and you control every drop, and there's not a whole lot of competition if you're exclusive in a marketplace.
Yeah, in a region.
Yeah, it can really drive a lot of revenue. But I think that's less of an issue today. I think there's a lot more competition, and in California, new people start up distributorships all the time. It's like, some individual will just say, yeah, so I'm going to be a beer distributor, and they start up and they get their license. They apply for a license. They just start. They go to breweries and say, hey, I'll distribute your beer for you. Yeah. And good luck to them. It's a tough business, and I think it's really made the bigger distributors very sharp and on their game, and they know what they're doing, and they do an excellent job of it. And so I think it's interesting how that has changed kind of the landscape, and craft beer as well, where I think some of the bigger distributors weren't interested in craft beer before. Now they realize that it's a growth area, and that done right, a lot of money could be made off of that.
Right.
And the interesting thing, we'll talk about this more in depth as we go forward, is I think that the amount that the distributors charge, and a lot of people don't, I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't believe this,
right.
The amount that they charge. I've looked at the numbers of us self-distributing, and I've looked at, what distributors charge us. And the cost of having the distributor, it's a break even. And it frees us up to do what we do really well, which is make the beer. Mm-hmm. And it puts, the onus on them of distributing the beer. And that's what they do really well. Yeah. You choose a really good distributor, they're really good at distributing beer. They're really very good at, being efficient about it, collecting, money and things like that, things that you're probably not that good at.
I see. Yep.
So,
well, I've heard some interesting, talking points from people, in the LA beer business that working with distributors, talking to brew pub and other bar owners, and which distributor you use and how happy are you with them.
Right.
Sometimes you hear about a distributor that charges way too much for the beer. Mm-hmm. So a restaurant is stuck with an expensive distributor,
right?
Or one that doesn't come in, and service them well, or there can be. I guess all I'm trying to say is there's several sides to this coin.
Sure. We'll get into that. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. We haven't taken a break yet, I think.
That's true.
And when we come back, let's tackle self-distribution first. And we'll get that in the next segment, and then we'll do working with distributors in the segment after that. And how to get distributors is another interesting thing. So let's do this, take a short break, and we'll be back after this.
Tonight is the night.
We bring the creature to life, Dr. Blickmanstein?
Yes, J.P. Gore. Everything is perfect for my next fermented creation.
My doctor, the storm is too far away. We'll never have enough power to isomerize the creature's alpha acid.
Yes, J.P. Gore, we will. For I have in my possession the Tower of Power.
Blickman's new Tower of Power is the evolution of automation. Control hot liquor, sparge, and mash temps like a pro. The Tower of Power is a high-quality gas-fired rim system that works with your current brewing setup. With ultra precision, the tower can hold your mash to 1/2 of a degree Fahrenheit. Precision and repeatability. The Tower of Power is the answer to automatic, fast ramp times. See more at BlickmanEngineering.com. Bring your next creation to life with the Tower of Power.
Dr. Blickmanstein, with the Tower of Power, you can probably give me an afternoon at the pub to enjoy a pint.
Don't be silly, J. Pegor. We have beer to brew.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep. You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse?
The $6.99 shipping?
Well, yeah, but...
the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
The Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
The wine-making supplies. The distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today because it's totally hot.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamil Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com. Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like pub discounts that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and eZymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love. And access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your home brewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join right now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association. Have you ever dreamed of taking a beer tour through Belgium or Germany, but weren't sure how to even start? Or were afraid of missing the best places and events? Or maybe you just wish you had a local insider to take you around? Well, there's only one American tour company featured in the Good Beer Guide to Belgium. Belgian Beer Me, your personal beer tour guide of Belgium and Germany, is ready to go at BelgianBeerMe.com and at BambergBeerMe.com. Founder Stu Stewart personally leads 8 tours a year to Belgium and Germany, visiting the finest breweries, beer cafes, abbeys, and festivals, stocking stuffers, birthday presents, and the best honeymoon ever. Couples or individuals love Belgian Beer Me beer tours. Your life is now. Sign up for a beer tour today at Belgian Beer Me or BambergBeerMe.com, because all that beer is not going to drink itself. Like both Belgian Beer Me and Bamberg Beer Me on Facebook to follow current and upcoming tours. Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, more beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, we're back. We're talking about distribution here on the Progasm of Brew Strong.
Yes. Everything you always wanted about distributors were afraid to ask.
Right. Well, and I was going to say, one of the great things that the Brewers Association does is they look into, kind of keep an eye on distribution laws and things like that. And they actually have on the website kind of a collection, a quick view of what the distribution laws are in different states and things like that. And they actually have a guy that watches over that and Washington happenings and stuff like that. And that is also a benefit to AHA members. And if you're not an AHA member, I strongly encourage you to be. John and I are both AHA members, and
right.
I wouldn't consider not being an AHA member. Well, I'm not a lifetime member, so I guess I have no choice at this point. But I felt it was well worth it to be a lifetime member. And the great thing about it is you go to the Brewing Network site, sign up there. There's a link. You click on that. You sign up, and the Brewing Network gets a cut of the action as well. So you're helping the Brewing Network, and you get a great membership in a great organization. It's really looking out for the interests of homebrewers and making homebrewing better. You get Zymergy magazine. You get the pub discount program. You get the ability to enter the National Homebrew Competition conference and things like that. You get first notice of when those things are happening. They actually have a AHA members only session at GABF.
Right. I'm looking forward to that.
So then that's right after the awards are announced, and it's less crowded. They sell far fewer tickets, and you get all those great beers, and a lot of breweries try and make sure that they have a special beer there at the members only session. So well worth it. Check it out. Again, a great organization. And like I'm saying, they have a lot of information about distribution laws. And one of the things, if you can set up in a self-distribution state, I think that's a really good choice.
Oh, really?
Because when you're first starting out, you brew a batch of beer, and for example, in California, all you got to do is have your labels posted and your price posted, and then you can go ahead and self-distribute all you want. That's all you got to do. You just got to let them know what you're doing, and then you can go around to, and there's rules about things like you can deliver beer between 3 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday in California.
Okay.
And every state's going to be different. You can't deliver beer on Sundays. Can't deliver beer after 8 p.m. Now, I could deliver it at 3 a.m., but I can't deliver it at 8:01 p.m., which is really just bizarre to me. So, there's all these different rules. That's one of the problems with self-distribution is you need to know all the rules. You need to be very clear on, what you can give a retailer, what you can't. Some states, you must collect the money on delivery, which I think would be awesome. In California, we're allowed to give them 30 days, so everybody wants 30 days. And then you run into some deadbeats. There was a bottle shop down in Southern California that was just like, oh no, nobody pays their bills within 30 days. Well, it's a law in California that you pay your liquor bill within 30 days. Oh no, nobody does. They told me that I was naive, thinking that people would pay within 30 days. I said, you're our only deadbeat account. And it took him like months.
You said deadbeat. Did you use that word?
Oh yeah, and I actually sent them a notice of going to small claims court to collect.
Oh man,
And then finally they loosened up. I said, just a collection of idiots, and they took over some apparently great liquor store that was doing gangbusters for like 60 years, and then they driving it into the dirt in 2 years. Collection of morons. But that's the kind of things you have to deal with when you're self-distributing. You'll find people that we'll carry your beer, absolutely, and they'll sell it. They'll make a big profit off of it, and then they won't pay you.
Yep.
They need that markup in order to pay for the building that they're in, the employees that are serving the beer, times when they pour your beer to somebody and the person goes, ooh, I don't like that, and they have to dump it out,
right.
All those costs. So they're, they have those costs and they have that markup for a reason. Everybody in the chain, I think, has, their slice of the pie, and the consumer gets, a reasonably priced product, high quality product that's worth it to them, and everybody takes their little slice.
Right.
Now you get more of a slice if you do your own self-distribution. The problem is you got to deal with, in some states you can't. Some states you can. You got to deal with the laws. You got to know what the laws are. You got to it takes you away from the brewery. You got to pay for fuel, which is expensive nowadays. You got to wrestle those kegs in and out.
Right.
All that stuff. And it really adds up. And by the time you collect all your money and all that, it's a considerable amount of effort.
Right.
And like I said, I found that, our costs relating to, distribution, really, it's a break even for us. Now, if you need to look to the distributors, Brian Hunt, Moonlight Brewing.
Right, okay.
That guy he brewed, did everything himself to 1,000 barrels annual production.
Wow.
By himself. And that included all the distribution and all that, which is an amazing amount of work. That guy, that's the one hard-working SOB right there. And I'm just amazed. I couldn't do that. I could self-distribute maybe 5 gallons, by myself. As it is, it takes me a lot of people to do that sort of thing. I think if you could look to how the distributors do it, you could kind of self-distribute efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
The way the distributors make money and are profitable is by doing it perfectly, knowing what they're doing and maximizing their cost savings where they can, and the profits where they can. And it's that little percentage there that determines whether a distributor is somebody just getting along or going out of business, or is profitable and is, enjoying the good life.
Yeah.
That's, they work in huge volumes and small percentages. And it's perfecting that small percentage.
Right.
It's getting that extra 0.1% profit, where nobody along the chain notices a difference in price. But they realize, because they're dealing in millions of cases of beer, case equivalents of beer, that 0.1%, that's some nice gravy right there.
Yeah, that's where their money is.
That's where it is. And that's where they're making their profit. What, you like gravy?
Who are you? That's some nice gravy right there.
That's some nice gravy. Yeah.
They're just getting their beak wet. I just need a little
taste.
I need a taste. I need to just wet my beak a little bit. A Smiley over there is going to crush your kneecaps.
Yes. So I think, self-distributing, if you can be efficient, schedule, when you start out, it's great because you can start selling some beer, you can start getting some revenue rolling. You don't have to convince anybody other than the retailer to carry your beer.
Right. You can go in and kind of monitor your own lines where you're pouring.
Right. And you can get it done that day. You can go out and sell it to somebody and see it poured, And that's an exciting thing. But, you need to look at some efficiencies. So when you first start, you're like, yeah, you want a case of beer? Oh, yeah, I'll take it out to you today. You want a 5-gallon? Yeah, I'll drive the 60 miles and drop it off, And you're doing all this, and then you realize that any profit you might have made off of that is gone.
Right.
And then you realize, okay, let's deliver this one area on Thursdays. Let's deliver this other area on Mondays. And let's make sales calls on this day. And you start, aggregating things down. And if somebody calls and say, hey, can I get a keg today? It's like, well, we're going to be in your area tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wait till tomorrow. And, you start doing things like that. The distributors, they have days when they're delivering. The larger distributors, they may be delivering every day of the week. And, the same thing goes on. Distributors will often have a certain minimum that they're willing to deliver.
Right.
It'll be like $200, or it'll be a certain number of case equivalents. So the distributors work in case equivalents. So a keg will be like, half-barrel keg will be like 6 cases of beer.
Oh, okay.
So everything's broken down into case equivalents.
Mm-hmm.
And, you need, certain number of case equivalents in order for them to do a delivery. Because if you send a truck and a driver and all the fuel and all that and the time to go and drop off one thing,
right.
You made no money off of that.
Right.
So, you can do that as self-distribution, but and the bigger distributors, they'll do that too. They'll, if something's really important, somebody's got an event, or for some reason they ran out or something, and it's a good customer, they'll have somebody go and drive a keg out there and take care of it.
Sure.
They'll make it work, but it's just they have certain efficiencies that they need to maintain in order to make profit. And self-distribution, you need to look at the same thing. You need to look at your costs. Anytime you're tying up labor, fuel, your car, things like that, really adds up. And it doesn't take much to suck all the profit out of a keg, especially draft product. You're not making a lot on it to start with.
Right. Small margin.
Small margin on that stuff. And, you can very quickly use up all your margin in distribution. So you need to be careful of that. But I do think, it's an awesome advantage to have because it gets you rolling really quickly.
Right. I guess I'd like to talk about tasting room just for a second.
Oh, huh? Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of research the last couple of weeks before I went down and did this recent presentation in Mexico. I had a group of people that were looking for opportunities in craft brewing, trying to figure out where the business opportunity was best at.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of, I've been talking to successful microbreweries around Los Angeles. One fact that jumped out at me was that small breweries are making a lot of money out of their tasting rooms.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of one real successful brewery, Eagle Rock Brewery, he was saying that maybe 25% of their beer moves through their tasting room,
mm-hmm.
but because of the difference in margin, that can represent 60% of their overall profits.
Sure.
And and other places, brew pubs, they'll say sometimes the restaurant carries the brewery, and sometimes the brewery carries the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
There's and that's a case where you're controlling your own sales. It's
right.
a self-distribution in essence.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that difference in margin that makes a big difference in how profitable your brewery is.
Right. But, you got to keep in mind a few things. So anytime there's more profit, you need to look at what the costs are.
Right.
So in a tasting room, having somebody there to work it, the extra expense of the tasting room, the square footage, the build out of the tasting room, any additional
sure.
licensing, things like that, issues with security, issues with money handling, all that stuff can add up to other expenses. You got to keep that in mind. So that's, expenses that you need to bear on that. You look at a smaller brewery, a tasting room is a great thing. because it gets people to learn about your brewery, things like that. You look at I was talking to Yusuf at Ballast Point about how important should the tasting room, should we get like a space that we could build a nice outdoor beer garden and all that, and he goes, what do you want to be? You need to answer the question for yourself. Do you want to be a small brewery where the tasting room is a big part of it and that's where your revenue is? Then get yourself a building that's closer to retail locations. And I went up to view the brew equipment at Good Life Brewing in Bend, Oregon. They got a beautiful kind of warehouse area. It's very close to a movie theater, all that thing. It's a giant, outdoor beer garden and really nice.
Yeah.
A beautiful retail setup but I'm sure they're paying for that.
Yeah.
So you have these extra costs when you get close to a retail location. If you want to be, and Yusuf, he was telling me, I noticed, I said, I noticed you expanded your tasting room size.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, yeah. He said, but it doesn't really matter. They're doing good business through there.
Right.
But he's like, 99% of our beer goes out the back door, not the front door.
Right.
And so if the tasting room went away, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to affect their business.
Sure, yeah.
When you have a business where 25% of your sales are going out the tasting room, then it's critical.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to make that decision in how you want to be selling your beer.
Yeah.
It can be more profitable, the smaller amounts. The Stone tasting room, I'm sure, does great.
Yeah.
But if it went away, I'm sure Stone would do just great and still sell as much beer as they do.
Right.
Otherwise.
Well, I think one reason for that is the amount of bottle package distribution that Ballast Point does and that Stone does.
Uh-huh.
A brewery that's well established.
Yeah, if you don't have bottles, you need to sell it, or bottles or cans, you need to sell it through your tasting room.
Yeah. I mean,
to make up for that. Otherwise, you're not going to be profitable.
Right. I think that's a real good point.
Mm-hmm. But if you choose now, Eagle Rock, I love those guys. I think great beer, great folks. I think they're in a shitty area of town.
Oh, they totally are.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop me from going there and enjoying it. But so maybe they got lower rent. I bet you they're still paying a fair penny because they're in Southern California. It's a pretty expensive market. But if I go out to an area where it's more rural, it's away from population. They've got population around them. If I go further away from the population, I can get cheaper rent.
Yeah.
But it's going to be harder to fill that tasting room up.
True.
If I go into where the population is, the rents go up, and then the tasting room better fly in order to make up for that. So again, it depends on where you're at. If you're out in the middle of some cornfield in Nebraska, I would not count on the tasting room for revenue.
True.
If you're in the heart of Los Angeles or San Diego or San Francisco or something like that, I would count on a tasting room to
be hopping,
to be hopping and to make up for that expensive rent that you're paying.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act on all these. I think you need to run the numbers and look at how you're going to distribute the beer. And we talked about this earlier. You need to, when you do your calculations, you need to talk about how much revenue you're generating per ounce of beer.
Oh, yeah.
Not, I sell this and I make $20 off this keg and I'm only making $10 off this case of beer, so, my draft is more profitable. It's like, well, no. How many ounces of beer were in there? You really need to maximize, your per ounce revenue.
Yeah.
And, tasting room, that's probably one of your highest per ounce revenues. Bottled or canned product is probably next.
Yeah.
And then draft that you bottles and cans that you sell out of your tasting room is probably real profitable as well.
Right.
And then draft product that you sell to retailers, that's next. And the lowest on the list is draft to wholesalers, your distributors.
Yeah.
And that's your lowest profit margin possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the way it is. So you need to look at that mix. But if you have the ability to produce a lot of beer, then selling it to wholesalers, a few cents an ounce profit, that's great. It depends on how you're set up. If you're a nano, obviously that's not going to work. If you're a nano, tasting room, sell everything through the tasting room.
Right.
That's the only way you have any shot at it. If you're a mid-size, then, you can do some distribution, you do some tasting room, do that. You get bigger, you get to like Ballast Point size, Stone size, then tasting room's not really important, but bottle product is.
Definitely.
Where you're making all your money. Let's take another short break. When we come back, we'll kind of delve into the whole distributor aspect of it and how you find distributors, how you choose distributors, all that. Back after this.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 9 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew Free or Die IPA throughout California and Alaska.
And now it's also available on draft at select accounts in the Bay Area.
So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack cans.
Hi, I'm Jamil Zainasheff, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Homebrewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your homebrew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zainasheff. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew. When Michael Fairbrother started moonlighting, he had no idea how quickly his dream was going to grow. Having homebrewed for 15 years, Michael decided to go pro, but not with beer. While attending his homebrew club meetings, he saw ladies knocking their men out of the way to try his mead. Moonlight Meadery is now 2 years old and can produce 200,000 bottles a year. It's the first New Hampshire winery to ever distribute to California and Australia. In fact, you can find Moonlight Meadery meads in Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, and New Hampshire, and they ship direct to 17 states. They produce 56 different varieties of mead and are unlike anything you've ever seen on the market. Michael Fairbrother at Moonlight Meadery is a real success story that can make the BN Army proud. Visit Moonlight Meadery in Londonderry, New Hampshire, or online at moonlightmeadery.com. What does craft beer mean to you? Is it a delicious way to support your town's local brewer? Or perhaps it's the perfect beverage to pair with those delicious meals at your favorite restaurant and at home. Regardless of whether you're thinking of pints or pairings, pilsners or porters, craftbeer.com is the site where craft beer lovers come together to learn and share. Craftbeer.com is brought to you by the Brewers Association and celebrates the best of American craft beer and its brewers. Craftbeer.com is the best place to find craft beer events, recipes, great feature stories, the most up-to-date brewery listings, and resources for your next beer tasting or dinner, like style guidelines, pairing mats, and charts. Get the inside scoop on new beer releases and special events from today's craft beer insiders, and chime in to share your own knowledge, perfect pairings, road trips, recipes, and more. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Are you a hophead? Beer lovers of all stripes will love Brewers Publications' latest release, IPA, Brewing Techniques, Recipes, and the Evolution of India Pale Ale by Mitch Steele.
I wanted to write a book that presented an accurate review of the history of IPA and also provided current technical brewing tips and recipe information. India Pale Ale is a style I love because it has a rich, fascinating history, and today it provides brewers a showcase for all the great new hop varieties that are available. I'm so proud of this book, and I know you'll enjoy all the recipes and thoughts from so many of the world's great IPA brewers.
IPA is available now from Brewers Publications at brewerspublications.com and your favorite homebrew store. Order your copy today and take your hop-forward beers to the next level.
American Homebrewers Association and Brewers Association members receive early notice and special discounts to most Brewers Publication releases. Visit brewerspublications.com to learn more and to find a schedule of author appearances. IPA by Mitch Steele. Get yours today.
7 short minutes off California State Route 101, there lies a secret oasis for all craft beer lovers.
It's Relax, Grillin' and Chillin', bro!
Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' in Hollister, California is a craft beer lover's dream come true.
Not like a creepy JP dream. Like a normal craft beer lover's dream.
30 taps pouring your favorite craft beer. Visit Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' on Facebook to see the most up-to-date beers and what's on the grill.
And let us grill so you can chill.
Angus burgers, filet mignon, and ribeye steaks, dogs and sandwiches, and more. Great food, great beer in a place where you can kick back and relax. Tuesdays are brewery nights. Come in to celebrate, and you're not limited to enjoying your favorite brew at the restaurant. Relax, Grillin' and Chillin' has beer to go. Relax, Grillin' and Chillin'. Let them grill so you can chill.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Cut hours off your brewing sessions by using one of our 11 varieties of famous Williams malt extract. Our Williams Belgian Pale Extract is mashed with pure Belgian two-row malt and a small percentage of Belgian wheat malt for an authentic Belgian character you just can't get from other extracts. Or check out our unique fermenters, 2.5-gallon kegs, paintball tank-based draft beer equipment, bottling aids, and much more. We even have our own line of precision hydrometers. Go to williamsbrewing.com to browse our vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
Back to your hosts, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. Putting the testicles in technical. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, we're back. During the break, Palmer told me he doesn't like beer anymore.
Yeah, so when's Heretic closing, Jamil?
Yeah, and that was after drinking Heretic beer. He goes, I don't like beer anymore.
I wonder why.
I think it was just an excuse. That or it's, it's like, when, JP, when you have sex with a woman and then the next week she becomes a lesbian.
Right.
I think it's the same thing. We give Palmer our beer and then all of a sudden he doesn't like beer anymore.
It's a good thing I've never had sex with a woman. What?
Yeah, it's a good thing I never had Heretic on Sundays.
Right.
Yeah. I don't want to like beer either, so let me get some of this Heretic.
If you did want to have sex with a woman or a man or, man on man or woman on woman or whatever on whatever, nothing wrong with that. But I'll tell you where you can go for some exciting new toys. Huh?
Yeah.
AdamandEve.com.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Brewing Network store.
The AJ.
Right. Well, exciting new toys you can get from either Blickman Engineering or AdamandEve.com. They're used for different things, but they're both exciting new toys. But Adam and Eve, they if you go there and use the offer code Jamil, Jamil, you buy one item, you're going to get 50% off of that item. You'll also get a free extra sensual gift along with that. You're going to get free shipping on everything. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get 3 free DVDs of your choosing. You can choose from a bunch of different categories. I can't remember them all, but I think there's something like anal, Asian, MILF,
co-ed,
POV, chunky, spastic,
spent grain.
That's spank grain. Yeah.
Mash louder.
Yeah, right.
Spark. Blow off. Oh, wait. I think it's a real one.
Right. But you can get all those different categories, a bunch of different categories. You get to choose the DVDs. They don't just send you, goat sex DVDs. They send you the goat sex DVDs that you want. And the free gift, free shipping. You buy one item, 50% off. It's a really good deal.
It is a good deal.
And everybody should at least place one order because you're getting a smoking deal and again the one item 50% off and getting all that other free stuff. And at least you could sell it at your garage sale and probably make a profit. So
there you go.
There you go. So check it out, adamandeve.com. They even have a mobile site. You can check out m.adameve.com. Good people. Check them out. All right, so we're talking about distribution, and
finding the distributor.
Right. Okay, so in some states you have to go through a distributor. I don't know. I wonder if it's easier to find a distributor in those states because
there's no spoiled for choice.
There's no guarantee, right, that any distributor would carry your beers. How do you see? And that's what I got to admit ignorance here. I'm in a state where I can self-distribute, so we started with self-distribution,
right? And
then we had a distributor come and talk to us, which is actually because of the Brewing Network, and it turned out to be just wonderful. As Central Coast Distributing, Mike Larrabee, he actually was learning to homebrew. Heard our shows, stuff like that. Heard we're opening a brewery, and he came by and said, "Hey, I want to help you get started. I want to distribute your beer."
Nice.
And I'm like, "Well, I hear horrible things about distributors. I don't know." And he's like, "Look, I'm not here to screw you. I'm here to help get you started. I appreciate what you're doing on the Brew Network. I'm going to help you out." And true to his word, he's been fantastic. And really, he's helped open up other doors to other distributors.
Right.
And without that, we have a great set of distributors. We're some of the biggest and best distributors in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because of Mike Larrabee at Central Coast.
Nice.
You got to start in their area. All the stupid stuff that we would do, that learning about what we're supposed to charge for, what we're not, how everything works. No matter how stupid we were, they're like, that's all right, don't worry, we'll make it work. It's okay, it's okay. No matter we charge anything, do anything, it's like, it's all right, don't worry about it. We'll make it work. It's all right. So really fantastic. And then introduced us to other excellent distributors. So when we want to open up a new area, he's been in the business for a long time.
Sure.
It's a generational thing for them. And when we want to open up a new area, I go, "Hey, Mike, we want to move into this area over here. Who should we go with?" And he tells me, gets me a connection, gets me all set up. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I know everybody won't have that, but I'll tell you, part of what you want to do is, if you can build a reputation at all, and this is where your tasting room and self-distribution will help.
Right.
As soon as you, and in this marketplace today, and the number of new distributors that are coming on.
Nude distributors?
Yes, nude distributors.
Okay.
You can rest assured that if you're doing a half decent job, somebody will contact you and say, "Hey, you want me to distribute your beer?"
Yeah.
Now that may not be the best distributor for you.
Right.
That's the thing. Like I said, just about anybody can get a license to distribute in an area somebody else is already distributing.
Yeah.
What tends to be exclusive and where the whole territory thing comes in is for a brand. When we sign up with a distributor, what happens is we assign a territory to them. We say, okay, for example, we just signed up with Bay Area Beverage to distribute in Contra Costa and Alameda counties. We're no longer going to self-distribute there.
Okay.
And they're going to do Contra Costa and Alameda counties, and our contract will say the territory is described as all of Contra Costa and Alameda counties in California.
Okay.
And so they have the right to sell our beer in those counties. Nobody else can. We can't do it. We can't assign it to anybody else. It's their territory.
Okay.
and that's part of our deal with them, right? And distributors will want that. Different countries work in different ways, so this is really U.S. specific. You can. I've been to distributors, and they'll have like a pile of beers from a variety of breweries,
right?
And that's the pile that comes in from breweries asking for distribution.
Oh,
so they'll be like, they get sent beer all the time, saying, "Hey, carry our beer, carry our beer, carry our beer," and
it doesn't move very well.
Doesn't necessarily mean they'll pick it up.
Okay,
it can be real tricky. I've got friends that get turned down for distribution in certain areas. So again, I don't think we're the best, example of how to get distribution, but
sure.
I think starting out, building a little bit of a reputation for yourself, going to some events,
pouring at festivals, kind of thing.
Pouring at festivals. You go to these events, and I'm not a big fan of events, but I think when you're starting out, if you go to these things, and the other distributors are there. There are especially the bigger breweries. These are representatives, not necessarily of the brewery, but sometimes from the distributor that are there.
Right.
Or or sometimes the distributors are coming around to these festivals to taste a variety of beers.
Right.
See what the vibe is for this beer, and then using that to say, hey, this is a brand maybe we should carry in our area.
Might be money to them. Yeah.
Right.
Why aren't you a fan of festivals, events?
Free beer.
Just because a lot of times you obviously don't read my blog.
I don't. You're absolutely right. You don't read mine either, though.
True.
So we're even on that score.
I'd like to learn something, though, when I read.
I just drew crayon drawings if I post those. But.
Yes. No, the thing on events is a lot of them can be drunk fests where people are only going there to get drunk.
Right.
And they will come up and they will specifically say, what beer do you have? What's your lightest beer? And we'll say, do you mean in terms of like color or flavor or bitterness? Or what do you have that doesn't have a lot of taste? I want something that doesn't have any taste to it. I'm like, you're at the wrong booth.
Yeah.
You want to go somewhere else.
Do you tell them that?
Yeah.
Good. You should.
Yeah.
People like that should be told right up front.
And they're going, no, it's okay. Just give me whatever has alcohol. What's got the most alcohol? No, you should go somewhere else. No, really, it's okay. Oh, I'll drink it. It's like, no,
that's not what I'm afraid of, is that you're not going to drink my 1 ounce sample.
Right. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I had somebody it was a ticketed event, and they already gave their ticket. And what do you have that is light, doesn't have much flavor? I said, you're at the wrong booth. I said, yeah, you got to go to a different booth for that. Turned and walked away. There you go. She's like, oh, okay.
Done.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but we're trying to make full flavor products.
Yeah.
To ask me what doesn't have any flavor.
So you don't like events because the wrong most.
No, I'm fine with that aspect of it.
Isn't the most
right?
Aren't the people who are going there?
But it's people going there just to get drunk.
Yeah. Well, that's not your demo, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If you're going there just to get drunk, I really don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. Best beer fest, bro.
Yeah. They don't care what it is. They're just pouring alcohol through. They won't remember what your beer is, and attending events is expensive. You have the labor involved. It isn't free. It costs you quite a bit. And then you have the beer that you're giving away for free, plus the fuel to get there, all your other equipment, your signs and all that stuff. It adds up. It's expensive to pour at events.
Yeah.
And, to do that just so somebody can get drunk and has no idea what beer they actually got drunk off of. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your resources. I think it would be better to not participate in any events and just lower your price to the bars so that it could be on draft at more places.
You don't think going to events helps marketing at all?
Well, if you do it right.
It can. And it depends on the event. Some events, I think you get a few people that are passionate, and you pick those people up. Great. Right? I went to an event at Yelp sponsored event just the other night, and the crowd at that thing at Auto Center in San Jose, and the crowd at that thing, and they're all people who are some of their top Yelpers or whatever, people that post on Yelp.
Right.
That crowd was fantastic.
Wow.
I was really impressed. Best crowd I've ever had at any event, bar none.
Did you Yelp about the Yelp event?
No, I didn't. But the it was a bunch of millennial age, in the 21 to 30 range or whatever it is. Young people that were passionate about what they were participating in and thinking about what they were consuming and why they liked it or why not. Mm-hmm. And they would talk to you about it. They wanted to learn about it. And they wanted to have a good time and drink some beer. And I did a few full pours for them, for people who wanted them. But they were just, trying to find out if they, what they liked. And a lot of them were like, I don't really like beer. I'd like to try it. Tell me about it. What's different about it. And, I explain it to them. They try and they go, wow. Oh, that's really neat.
And that's much different than asking for
right. They weren't there to get drunk. They were there to experience something new.
Right.
Fantastic. I loved that crowd. I was really impressed. And that kind of event, I could do that event, over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That was a good use of our money, good use of our product, good use of my time. I think that was fantastic. Now, that's not all events. Not all events are bad. Not all events are great. It just depends on the events. And you need to try some and learn. I think almost always you might get a few people that you market to. And so your cost of the people you're acquiring, just varies. The Yelp one, that was a real home run for us.
I don't know about you guys. I've never picked up a new brewery from a beer fest.
Right.
I can't remember. I can't remember one that I've ever done.
Because you are seeking out beers otherwise. People who are just, they enjoy a pale ale, because they've tried it a couple places and they're not really beer geeks. They go to these places and they go, yeah, I enjoy some craft beer, and they'll try it, and I think that they will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, so events in and of themselves are not bad. It just depends on the event, I guess. So,
all right.
That's my rant on that.
I love it.
You got me started.
So
where were we before we got sidetracked?
We were talking about various distributors. One thing I was thinking of is, what do you look for when you're choosing a distributor? I mean, so far, you in particular had distributors recommended to you,
right?
And you have a good reputation to sell to them, so that they're more interested in you than potentially another brewery with another distributor in another state. I've heard, talk of you go into a distributor, you look at their portfolio of the stuff they're carrying, and you think to yourself, I don't know that our brand or our brewery fits this distributor. They're carrying a lot of not big national brands. Do they understand my brand?
Right. Well, and I think that that's one of the things that people would talk about, and they're like, well, if they're carrying Anheuser-Busch or Miller Coors, that's what they're gonna sell, and they're not gonna sell my brand. So far, we're almost exclusively with the Miller Coors houses.
Interesting.
And it's because a couple of things. You need to look at distributors and what they're capable of doing as far as the number of staff they have to deliver, the number of salespeople they have to go out and work the market, the ability to make sure there's clean lines, the ability to pay their debts. If you send $20,000 worth of beer to a distributor, and it's somebody who's working by himself and can't keep it cold, can't move it and keep it fresh, and can't pay their bills, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So a little bit larger distributor, that's kind of nice in that respect. And I've found that the bigger distributors now, there was some fight with Anheuser-Busch telling the distributors they needed to focus on their core brands and not all this other stuff. I don't think Miller Coors has done that. But those bigger distributors, they're realizing that the larger main lines of the largest brewers are shrinking.
Yep.
The market segment's shrinking, and the craft market's growing, and it's a higher dollar market. So they're looking at it as like, well, that's where I'm going to make some money. If I can take Heretic and make it the next Stone, I'm going to make some serious money off of this. Yeah, they'll, so they're willing to get behind it, and they're willing. They know that they can, sell craft beer. Plus, their customers, the retailers, are asking them for more craft beer. So I think it's not quite the issue it was before, where you think, oh, they're only going to sell, the large brands. There's always some of that. You don't sign up with a distributor for sales, right? Distributor is to distribute the beer.
Okay.
They will do some sales for you, but you need to be working the market as well. You need to build a brand that's interesting. You can't expect a distributor to build a brand for you.
Okay.
You need to, the brand's your personality.
Yeah.
It's what you want to present to the consumer and why they should buy your brand, why they should try it. You develop that. You promote that. You actually tell the distributor how you want your brand represented. You say,
okay,
if you're going to talk about our beer, make sure you do this and that and the other thing. And they'll like, okay, yeah, whatever you want. It's your brand. It's not their brand. But, they also want to move a lot of beers, so they may have suggestions for you. Do it this way, do it that way. They'll do some sales. They'll sell anything that is going to sell. They're not going to go into a place and not, sell beer to them.
Right.
So if the place asks about your beer, or asks them, what else they have in your portfolio or something, maybe you're tiny, Generally, when they got a new product, they'll mention it to everybody. They'll say, hey, we just picked up Heretic Brewing. Maybe the retailer goes, sell me, 1,000 cases of Coors Light, okay. Well, that's fine. Not everybody's going to buy your beer. But I guarantee you they're going to mention it to any account that they think will buy it because they want the sale.
Yep.
They don't want to, they're not trying to hide your product so it doesn't get sold unless, there's some, competing factor or something. I just don't see that. They're in the business to make money. So, real important that way. What else? Choosing distributors. Let's see. Rules. Yeah, there's rules.
Take a break. Come back into that.
Yeah. Have we only done 2 breaks so far? All right. Let's take a short break. And when we come back, we'll wrap up with a little bit more on distributors and any questions in the chat after this.
By popular vote from the Northwest Brewing News, HopTech has been voted the best homebrew shop in Northern California. Serving homebrewers for nearly 30 years in Dublin, California, HopTech carries more than 40 different kinds of hops and more than 60 different grains, malt extract, spices and sugars, hop oils and extracts. Open every day except Wednesday or shop online anytime at hoptech.com or call 1-800-DRY-HOPS, 1-800-379-4677. With in-store classes almost every Saturday, huge selection and a dedicated commitment to their customers, HopTech is one of the longest-running and passionate homebrew stores, period. And now, by popular vote, the best homebrew shop in Northern California. And don't forget their 15% military discount. HopTech. Visit today at hoptech.com.
When Blickman Engineering set out to design a great brewing stand, they knew it had to be strong, adaptable, and last for a lifetime. The top-tier brewing stand is now proudly available at BlickmanEngineering.com. It grows with your brewing skills and equipment. Start with 5-gallon coolers on its heavy-gauge stainless steel shelves. Then move all the way up to 30-gallon pots on the high-output burner tiers. Speaking of burners, the custom Blickman Engineering top-tier burners are extremely powerful, efficient, and amazingly quiet. They have safety stops to center your pot pot, and they'll last a lifetime and won't rust. The top-tier brewing stand allows virtually infinite combinations from traditional gravity systems to 2 tiers to completely horizontal. Configure your stand the way you want and have the freedom to change it at any time in the future. Your brewing stand should adapt with you, not force you to learn a new process. Visit BlickmanEngineering.com today to configure your top-tier brewing stand and to find a local Blickman retailer. You'll be surprised with all the flexible features and the competitive price. Start brewing with Blickman from the top tier.
Hey, Jack, what you doing? Playing Warcraft?
No way, it's TBG time, buddy.
TBG?
Get with it. I'm playing that brewery game.
What brewery game?
No, that's the name of the site, thatbrewerygame.com.
What?
Yeah, check it out, man.
If you've ever brewed beer in your dreams or wish you could mash in right from your desk at work, you can. Kind of. With That Brewery Game. You can brew up a great batch of beer from anywhere, virtually. Then you can sell it, because in That Brewery Game, it's legal to sell your beer to the public, create recipes, brew virtually, upgrade your equipment, upload labels, and test market your brand at thatbrewerygame.com.
You still slinging pissed off birds into buildings from your phone? Forget that. Try making beer.
Sweet.
Register right now for your free account at thatbrewerygame.com. Brew, drink, play. Thatbrewerygame.com.
All right, BN Army, it's trivia time. What's the only homebrew shop with over 1,000 recipe kits, $4.99 shipping on orders over $100, and is also home of the Wolf shirt? The one and only answer is Austin Homebrew Supply. For over 20 years, they've specialized in creating recipes such as the best-selling Texas Blonde Ale, Apocalypso, Hop Bomb 2.0, and Double Chocolate Stout. And they just recently unveiled their small grain kits that produce 1 gallon of beer. Visit AustinHomebrew.com to browse their extensive catalog of equipment and ingredients. They also have mini clone recipes of your favorite commercial beers. They're the exclusive retailer of Brew Vent Yeast Fuel as well, Yeast Nutrient, and the all-new Bodybuilder. Follow Austin Homebrew Supply on Google Plus to participate in video hangouts on popular brewing topics. So visit AustinHomebrew.com today and make sure you sign up for their weekly email with news and specials. Austin Homebrew Supply, AustinHomebrew.com.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
In a world where everything has been lost.
What happened to the city? It's in ruins.
Only one man has the ancient knowledge to restore civilization.
I need a drink. Oh no, the liquor store's been ransacked.
You looking for beer, stranger? Boy, all the liquor got drunk up in the first 25 minutes of the apocalypse.
Wait, there's still some bottles over... Oh, no. Those are non-alcoholic beer.
I reckon you better stick to arrowroot tea and a desperate nomadic existence like the rest of us.
People, I'm a home brewer. I know how to make alcohol.
It can't be done.
Come with me if you want the beer. Okay, I'm gonna need some big plastic buckets.
He is the chosen one. The prophecies say that he's gonna get us wasted.
Someone start heating water. And
from the creators of Northern Brewer, the people who brought you $7.99 Brew Saver shipping, massive selection, and superior customer service comes the Homebrewer.
A
vial of White Labs yeast is the key to your best beer. When you open a vial of White Labs yeast, you're giving your beer its best chance for a perfect fermentation. In addition to their already incredible variety of yeast, White Labs is proud to announce WLP 90, San Diego's super yeast, now available year-round. WLP 90 is super clean, super fast fermenting, with low esters and has a neutral flavor and aroma profile. It's alcohol tolerant and highly flocculent. For more of the latest White Labs news, click over to whitelabs.com, where you can read reviews of yeast, learn in the lab section, and join the customer club. And if you should find yourself in San Diego, White Labs has a brand new training facility for craft brewers and home brewers alike. Whitelabs.com. Discover yeast, nutrients, enzymes, and more for commercial breweries, home brewers, and homebrew stores. White Labs. It's all in the vial.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew strong.
All right, we're back. We're talking distribution on the Progasm here.
Yep. Talking keggage, cooperage.
Cooperage? Yeah. That's one of the things that I think people don't realize. So when you are distributing in your tasting room or whatever in brew pub, you could have a bright tank and serve from that, or you can keg it and serve from that. And when it's empty, that keg goes right back in the brewery. You know, your turn time is real quick. You can clean it, fill it, go again. When you go out, you're self-distributing, you take these kegs out to retailers and you wait for them. You know, they'll have, let's say it's a beer they want to keep on all the time, which is ideal for you.
Right.
You got to drop them one keg to hook up to the tap and another keg to have in reserve.
Right.
Or maybe two, depending on how quick they're going through it, how often you're delivering. As they empty these kegs, they sit there until you come and get them. You take them back, you clean them, you fill them again, right?
Right.
That's your float, a certain amount of keg float you need in order to, because you got to fill the kegs at the brewery first. You can't go and get them, bring them back, fill them, and then take them back out one at a time. You've got to, wait until you have enough to keg off a full batch. You have to have the beer already filled so you can, when you go out there to pick up the empties, you're taking them new full ones.
Right.
And then you're bringing back the empty ones, and you got to clean those, all that. So you need to have enough to do multiple batches. When you go to a distributor, you're adding a whole nother loop in there as to you sell your kegs to the distributor. The distributor puts them in their warehouse. Over time, they sell them to the retailers. Over time, the retailers go through the kegs and empty them.
Yeah.
Over time, the distributor goes back
and gets them
and collects them. Some distributors are horrible about collecting kegs. I mean, you go to some retail outlets, you see a mountain of empty kegs, and they're like, "Goddamn distributors won't pick up the kegs." And those kegs get taken back to the distributors. They sit at the distributor until it's time for either you to go collect them or they ship them to you or whatever arrangement you have.
Right.
Then you get them, and you need to clean them, fill them, get enough to fill an entire batch. In the meantime, you're sending out more and more kegs. It's a huge, huge float. It gets bigger and bigger. Every tap handle that you have out there, the industry advice is like if you're self-distributing, it's something like, 2 kegs per tap handle, and not nearly enough.
Uh-huh.
And if you're going to the distributor, it's like 3 to 4 times per tap handle. Not nearly enough. I think it's more like 5 to 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it really adds up.
I would imagine, yeah.
You'll need far more kegs than you think. And when your average cost runs, even at the cheapest, on a mix of 6-barrel and half barrels, you're probably at least $100 a pop on your average keg per mix. You drop $100,000 in no time.
Yeah. Off on a tangent, when does having your own keg washer become vital in this?
Day one.
So there's a little tip there for you guys.
Yeah. Keg washer, you're looking anywhere from like 15 to 30 grand.
Mm-hmm.
You can build something and with some pumps, and there's stuff posted online and Pro Brewer, and you need essentially a coupler. You use a pump to pump the kegs are designed to clean upside down.
Yeah.
That's how they actually designed modern Sankey kegs from the ground up, as far as how they'd be cleaned and filled and things like that. And they're designed to be cleaned while they're sealed. So you turn them upside down, the cleaner fountains out the spear and washes the keg walls, right, at a certain speed. Then you reduce the speed, and it kind of dribbles down the spear and cleans that part and the bottom part. And then it comes back out, and it goes in a reservoir. So you just need a pump and 2 speeds on the pump and a reservoir, and you could run that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to rinse it in between, because you don't really want to run, caustic and then like carbon dioxide. You can flush it with air, and then you can run your acid cycle. You can rinse it, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And your sanitizer, and so you can do multiple cycles, and you could do just caustic for a month, and then you can do just acid for a month, and alternate between them. You don't necessarily have to do both. Depends how worried you are about beer stone buildup.
On your
Caustic's
spear.
the important thing, yeah, on your spear, yeah. And so. You could build something like that probably for a couple $100, or less than $1,000 if you're doing new pumps, and you got to have a pump that's strong enough to do the first cycle, and then the second part of the cycle is lower.
Yeah.
So you can do that, and if you're just doing a few kegs, you could take the spears out and fill them up with PBW and clean them like a homebrew keg, but the labor and all that involved is ridiculous.
That's true.
If you really want to be a production brewery and send beer out, or if you're dealing with any number of kegs, then you really just need to buy a keg washer.
Yeah, and I guess we were just talking during the break. Number of kegs, for size brewery. I mean, I know a brewery that's a distributing brewery that's doing about 2,000 barrels a year, and they have 6,000 kegs.
Right.
That's not chump change.
Right. And you figure, they probably, ranging at least, $100 a keg.
Yeah, yeah. And the cleaning of those and the, the storage space, they come back. Right. I mean, I know I visited there, and there was kegs stacked everywhere, and they were in the business, in the process of, pulling a batch and getting the kegs ready to fill, and, it's a...
And you want to balance it, you don't want to use up too much of your storage space. You gotta, you want to, but you can't run out either and not be able to package up a batch.
Right.
We run real lean and tight right now, and so every once in a while we drive out to our distributor in San Francisco and pick up kegs there, because we're like, we're a little bit short. We got to pick up, because I don't want to tie up too much capital in there, and then
right.
We don't have the storage space where we're at now. When we get to new space, we'll have more storage space, and I'll be able to lay in some more kegs. But right now, we just don't have the room. Mm-hmm. One other thing I want to mention before we finish this: when you sign up with a distributor, it's like a marriage. Almost every state, they have varying levels of franchise laws, and the reality is that if you sign a contract with a distributor, there's no way back out of that contract. No matter what it says, generally there's no way back out. You can put all the language you want in there, but if it's not legal in the state, it doesn't matter.
Why is that? I mean, it is...
The interesting thing is, all right, so if you were to want to open a McDonald's location, you would get a franchise license from the corporation, and you'd run this location, and there's certain laws about that control that. And when you can't just say, well, I'm independent of you and I'm running my own McDonald's, because the brand belongs to them and all that, right?
Right.
And there's multiple people all over an area. So somehow with beer, they said that, well, the fact that you're giving the distributor the license to distribute in an area, they're a franchisee of you. They're actually, my personal opinion is they're not.
Right.
They're not producing beer. and selling it under our brand. They're just
selling it,
distributing it.
Yeah.
Right. But the way, our political system works and all that, it's been determined that, the franchise laws apply. And so because of that, it's like if you have a McDonald's franchise, I think they can't yank the license from you unless they have good cause.
Right.
So we can't have the distributor stop distributing unless we have good cause. And then you have to give them time to correct any flaws in that. And, if they don't correct it, after you notify them and they have 6 months to correct the problem, and you can't use things like lack of sales or things like that as a reason for, yanking the license from them.
Interesting.
Now, you can buy, a lot of the contracts have the ability, you can buy the accounts they have away from them if they want to sell them at a certain amount of money. So, like a marriage, you can't really get out of it without parting with a lot of money. But, it's just, the thing is, when I first started doing this, all the stuff I heard from brewers and online, I read online, all this stuff, made me so terrified of distributors. Like, somehow they're going to screw you, and they only have their best interest in mind, and, they're just money grubbing, and they don't know what they're doing, and it's just, this horrible collection of people. Well, the reality is completely different than that. I'm sure people have had bad experiences with some distributors, but the majority of distributors, I think, are actually quite good. I think the reason that they succeed and the reason that they make money is, again, because they're very efficient at what they do. They know what they're doing. They're knowledgeable. They provide good product and good service, and they keep people happy.
Yeah.
That's how they're making their money. And they want to keep you happy, too. Now, they're not going to run around and wipe your ass for you, but, they'll try and help you out. They'll try and, work with you in a way that is positive, constructive. They're not going to do everything for you. You're going to have to do stuff yourself. They're in the business of distributing the beer. You're in the business of making it, marketing it, and selling it. And they'll, handle those other parts of the transaction. They'll help you some on that, but you can't count on that. And, if you realize it's a relationship and a tight one where the more you put into that relationship, the more you work with them on making them successful, the more they're going to work with you on making you successful. It's like a marriage again. And with that partner, you work hard.
Yeah.
You're both going to benefit. And that's what, the brewery distribution relationship is like. And
they're going to tell you when it's time to wipe your ass.
Right. They're going to say, you're not wiping your ass well enough. I can smell you from here.
Yeah.
So, you just need to keep that in mind. And, my experience has been nothing but positive because of that, I think. I don't expect them to go out and, be, developing marketing for us.
Right.
They're there, as part of the supply chain. And, they've been fantastic. So I think, keeping that in mind, you can do very well. And my experience has been nothing but positive. There's always some bumps in the road, but again, I think, it's like when you have bumps in the road in a marriage, you talk to the other person and say, hey, here's the situation. And if you're both reasonable, you work it out. If not, then you get divorced. It costs you money, you get divorced, and you move on.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way it is. It keeps you from, willy-nilly changing one to the other. All right. Any questions from the chat before
we do. We have a few, and we're running out of time, so we'll hope to get to them all. This is from Onamar in the chat. He says, opinion answer is fine. In a highly populated metro area, how does having a number of beer cafes and brew pubs adjacent to each other affect sales or general viability? Example would be downtown Oakland. There are a few craft beer bars within several blocks of each other.
Absolutely helps everybody. It increases sales dramatically. It's like anything. It's like having a bunch of restaurants together. All the restaurant sales go up. It's like having multiple people in the same, marketing and advertising the same product. Everybody the population becomes more aware of the product.
Right.
and sales go up for everybody that is doing a decent job. If you're doing a shitty job, then yeah, you're gonna be screwed by the new competition.
Right.
But if you have a bunch of people doing a really good job, more populations can be drawn to that area that enjoys that thing, and everybody's sales go up. So I wouldn't be afraid of those areas.
All right. Rig2403 asks, what is the most challenging thing in regards to expanding your distribution?
You need to balance. You need to balance your output with the distribution. You can't sign distribution and then not have beer for them. That pisses them off because they're investing in providing that beer. They don't want to go to their retailers and say, "Oh, we got this product," and then, "Oh, sorry, we're out. I can't sell it to you." That screws with them. That's one thing. The other thing is any area that you sign up to have distribution in, you need to be willing to travel to that area and work the market with their salespeople, talk to their salespeople, train their salespeople, go to events and things like that. The further that area is away from you,
the
harder it is to support that area. So, and without support, the area tends not to do so well. So,
okay. And this is from our good friend Nico Brew.
Nico, buddy. I saw him out in Idaho.
Yeah.
When I was visiting the marketplace.
Well, there you go. See, that's what happens. You get out into the marketplace, you meet people like Nico.
Well, and you have to do those things.
And you have to decide if that's good or not.
Right. So we'll probably pull back from Idaho after that experience.
I know Nico, too.
He goes, do craft breweries lose a lot of kegs? People putting a deposit and stealing them to make beer in or whatever?
Yes.
Straightforward. That's what we like.
You lose like 5% of your kegs every year.
Really? 5%?
Yes. It's a huge loss of money. And it's stuff that it goes to scrap yards mainly, I think. I think,
I've heard of stories of brewers chasing their kegs to scrap. I think JJ was doing this a while. JJ Fair, every month he would go to the local scrap yards and pick up his kegs.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, some are stolen by, homebrewers. Not a huge amount.
It can't be that. I mean, there's not that many homebrewers, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of them are stolen off the porch of bars.
Right. But scrap, people taking them to scrap yards, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Tens of millions, if not billions of dollars of perfectly good kegs going to scrap in scrap yards.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. It's thievery and of the worst kind. So, homebrewers shouldn't do it either. It's screwing the craft beer industry you love. But I don't think it's the major part of the problem.
No. Okay, last question we have time for. K-Moss asks about the pros and cons of going with a bigger distributor versus a smaller boutique distributor.
Well, a lot of times the only distributor you can get is a smaller distributor if you're not known and don't have an in with another distributor. A lot of times the bigger distributors won't even talk to you. They're just not interested in somebody that's small and can't produce enough beer for them. So you have to go small. And what happens is the smaller distributor starts distributing you, and then the bigger distributor, if you're successful, they'll buy those accounts from that smaller distributor and, then take it from there. The smaller boutique distributor, people go, well, they'll focus more on my beer because it'll be an important part of their portfolio and all that. Yeah, but they tend to have fewer salespeople and fewer, delivery trucks and, maybe not, enough cold storage or things like that, and not enough people to go clean lines. So the bigger distributor, they have a lot of other brands to deal with, so maybe you don't get quite as much attention, but they have 20 times the number of people. They have
better support overall,
right?
Potential.
So, and the bigger distributors, the smaller boutique distributors, tend to deal in the craft beer bars and craft beer bottle shops and stuff like that. You can do those yourself. You can go to any geeky craft beer bar and you can sell them a keg. They'll buy it. They'll put it on. You go any of those. It's really easy to sell to. The hard places to sell to are grocery store chains, 7-Elevens, things like that. The distributors, they're already in the bigger distributors.
They're in there.
They're in there selling a Bud Light and Coors Light and all that stuff. And, they can go in and go, we also got, if you want to dabble in some craft beer, we got this stuff too. That's like, hey, I got Heretic in 7-Elevens. A lot of the smaller distributors, some can, but some of them, they're not going to get you into places like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a nice way to kind of branch out. So that's kind of the differences. But I think a lot of times you're going to need to go with the newer guy. If you're starting out and you don't have a reputation, you need to get that rolling. The smaller guy is the way to go in that instance.
That's it from the chat.
All right, good show. Anything else to add, John?
Not this time. That was a good show.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you got any questions about going pro and you want us to address that on upcoming Q&A show or shows if we need the time.
Progasm Q&A.
Yeah, send that to Brewstrong at thebrewingnetwork.com or Jamil, Jamil, at thebrewingnetwork.com. Funny, JAMIL is also the code you can use at adamandeve.com.
That's right.
For your hefty discount.
Not only can you, but you should.
You should.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you should. And check out other great sponsors. Blickman Engineering, Blickman with 2 N's, great folks, great products. The AHA, Brew Your Own magazine. You can subscribe for that. Go to thebrewingnetwork.com, click on that link. And if you do, half of your subscription goes to the price goes to the Brewing Network. It's no higher subscription price, but they just peel off half of that and give it to the Brewing Network to help out the Brewing Network. So it's really cool. And you get a great magazine to go with. Check out the IPA, Mitch Steele's IPA book. It's in the Brewing Network store right now. I got my copy. John's got his copy. A great book, and you can pick that up and help the Brewing Network as well. And new B&R hats, glassware, all sorts of cool stuff. And when you buy that stuff, it helps the Brewing Network, helps keep this show on the air. So
I'm wearing mine right now.
Don't hesitate to open up the wallet on that. And if you're listening live, stay tuned. We got one more coming up on marketing. And other than that, if you're listening to podcasts, 2 weeks. Till then, brew strong.
Brew strong, everybody.